Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a totally fascinating concept: how humanity's oldest solution for commerce is absolutely essential for a future mission to Mars. We're talking about currency, folks, and exactly how it's going to function when we finally become a multi-planetary society. To figure out how an extraterrestrial economy actually runs smoothly, we kind of have to look backward at human history first.
So let's kick things off with a highly practical question. How exactly will you buy your morning coffee on Mars? To answer this, we literally have to throw out our entire fundamental understanding of currency. You're not going to see paper bills floating around in zero gravity, right? And you certainly aren't going to be swiping a traditional credit card linked to some bank way back on Earth.
Section 1. Introducing Confederation Script. This is the currency of the Earth Embassy and early Mars.
So what exactly is Confederation Script? Well, it's the designated purpose-built unit of currency used at the Earth Embassy and, in its early stages, on Mars itself. The mechanics here are actually pretty fascinating. Before embarking, mission members completely surrender their hard Earth currency, US dollars, euros, that sort of thing, in exchange for this script. Meanwhile, the mission holds on to a small supply of that hard currency for crucial outside purchases that the embassy might need. It's this brilliant way to insulate the new community while still keeping a vital tether to Earth's resources.
Section 2. The Invention of Trade, Moving from Violence to Commerce.
To really get why Confederation Script is going to work so seamlessly, we have to look at mankind's greatest survival mechanism. Way back in the Paleolithic era, trade was this revolutionary diplomatic tool. It allowed strangers to interact peacefully instead of, trying to kill each other. This right here was the bedrock idea for money. Trading made early humans far less violent when they met, all while letting them get their hands on goods they'd otherwise never possess. It was literally our first great leap forward in human cooperation.
But as you can probably guess, relying purely on barter had a very obvious immediate problem. Imagine you're trying to trade a whole, living cow for just 6 arrowheads. The math just doesn't work. And you can't exactly chop a living cow into fractions to make exact change, right? The sheer logistics of barter put a really harsh limit on how much an economy could actually grow.
Section 3. The Evolution of Money. From shiny rocks to digital electrons.
So, early humanity desperately needed an intermediary step to fix that clunky barter system. And that led us to the brilliant invention of money. But what is money, really? When you strip it right down to its core, money is simply a mutually agreed upon medium of exchange. Users trust that they can later exchange it for other goods they want. And here's the kicker. The actual physical device used is completely irrelevant. Whether we're talking about gold nuggets, green paper, or even historical crazes like tulips, the physical object doesn't matter at all as long as both parties trust its future value.
If we track this evolutionary journey over thousands of years, the trend becomes incredibly clear. We start with basic bartering in the Paleolithic era. Then, early villages start trusting shiny rocks, shells, and beads. As governments started to form, society moved on to minting coins. And finally, we arrive at the modern era, where we trade pieces of paper called dollars. Notice a pattern? As society advances, the physical tangibility of what we consider money gets more and more abstract.
And that abstraction certainly doesn't stop with paper dollars. Today, in the 21st century, the definition of money is astonishingly broad. Just think about certificates of deposit, money market accounts, treasury notes, or shares of stock. You wouldn't look at these and think of them as physical cash in your pocket, right? Yet they sit right there on bank balance sheets and function entirely as wealth. They can be converted into purchasing power in a heartbeat.
Which brings us to a really fascinating realization about our current world. In reality, almost all of today's money is just sent back and forth between accounts using electrons and the internet. Think about it. How often do you actually handle physical dollar bills or coins today compared to, say, 20 years ago? Modern currency is largely just an invisible abstraction, zipping through fiber optic cables and wireless signals.
For a super powerful real-world example of this, just look at China. People there rarely use physical cash at all anymore. They rely heavily on phone apps to make purchases and accept payments. This perfectly illustrates the ultimate trajectory of money, and it sets the absolute perfect precedent for a fully digital economy at the Earth Embassy and during those early colonization days on Mars. If humanity can adapt to this so seamlessly here on Earth, we can definitely implement it in space. Section 4. Trusting the Mars Economy. Building a self-sufficient system. Okay, let's dive into how this hyper-modern digital approach directly supports a functioning Martian community.
Mimicking our modern Earth economy, where you might work 40 hours and get an electronic deposit in dollars, individuals working at the Earth Embassy will simply receive an electronic deposit denominated in Confederation script. The human behavior, the daily routine, it's exactly the same. Literally, only the name of the currency changes.
In practice, this financial flow is incredibly streamlined. Step 1. You receive your electronic Confederation script for your hard work. Step 2. Those funds are automatically distributed to your ticket and retirement accounts. This digital script operates mostly in back-end computer transactions to seamlessly fund crucial necessities. It's all designed to grease the wheels of an economy that is laser-focused on becoming 100% self-sufficient.
And this brings us to the most critical takeaway from the explainer today. Quote, just as people over time and all over the world have created money when there was a belief that the money could be trusted to carry value. End quote. The entire foundation of this whole concept comes down to that one single core belief. Money only exists because of our shared trust in it. Whether it's seashells in a Paleolithic village, paper dollars in a bank on Earth, or digital Confederation script in a Martian colony, trust is the actual currency holding the whole shebang together.
Which leaves us with this final, incredibly provocative thought to chew on regarding the future of space colonization. If you're willing to trust a spacecraft designed and built by the mission to Mars with your very life rocketing through the unforgiving, freezing void of space, wouldn't you trust its currency? It's a pretty powerful perspective on how belief literally builds our future. Think about that the next time you look at the cash in your wallet. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.